So I look to others to gauge how good I am. So if I see others doing as good as me or better than me, and then I also put into context where they came from, what they learned, and where their spite is fueled from, and if their story is more painful than mine, does that mean that they're going to be better than me? Does that mean that they're more worthy of success and accolades than I am? Because my story doesn't hurt as much? I don't know the answer to that question, but that is something that comes up here in my head a lot. Trump's father gave him $1 million loan. I asked my folks for a loan to open a practice. They said no. So I did with $2,000 in my pocket, moved across the country. What the hell's going on out here? Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Fueled by Spite. As always, I'm your host, Dr. James Taylor, and from a incredibly biased source, we've got a good one today. The working title, and it wasn't clickbaity enough for me. It was clickbaity enough for me. I don't know if it's clickbaity enough for you. The working title for this episode was a psychiatrist's wet dream. I'd click on that. I don't know if other people would, because again, the goal of this thing is to help people, right? But obviously, we've talked in the past about the title of the show, Fueled by Spite, in and of itself is going to turn people off. So if they're turned off by spite, they're also probably turned off by wet dreams. So it's going to be a good one. But no, what I want to talk about here is a hot button topic, if you will, or at the very least, a clickbaity phrase, imposter syndrome, and another one, introverts. You ever notice that introverts are proud about their introversion? It's a weird phenomenon that I've noticed. Personally, I am an introvert. That is probably incredibly surprising to you, but right now, there's nobody here. It's me and a camera, and I can talk to this all day long. Or if you've been to my office, if I told you I was an introvert, you'd be like, bullshit. Well, this is mine. This is my area. I have created this. I have cultivated this. I have curated this wonderfully familiar and safe for me and for others. Jesus Christ, it's a healthcare office. It's a chiropractic office. It's safe for others too. But I've cultivated this wonderfully safe place for me, as much as I hate safe places, or at least the phrase. So, introversion and imposter syndrome, and how I navigate it, because in my unprofessional, way outside my lane, beyond my scope of practice diagnosis, I got them. So where'd this come from, right? Where'd this come from, and how did I get here? So let's do this. Okay. Imposter syndrome, the feeling of anxiousness or anxiety by not experiencing success despite objective high performances. Okay, so that's, in all reality, I didn't know exactly what imposter syndrome was until, like, definition wise, I had an idea just based on context, until shortly before writing this episode. Because again, as I've gone along here, I've started to write outlines and take notes. So this isn't just a rambling 15 or 20 minutes of your life. Like I said, I want you to get something out of this. So with that being known, the definition of imposter syndrome: feeling of anxiety and not experiencing success despite high performance objectives. Okay, cool. We've got that. Now, let's go to this. Have you ever taken Strength Finders? Because you should. It's fantastic. And well, it is fantastic. I think the reason I put so much weight on it and credence in it is because I had somebody explain its significance to me. And that word in and of itself is going to be a running theme here. So what it does, it takes 30 some odd strengths of yours, or attributes. That's a better word. It takes 30 some odd attributes and ranks them from 1 to, let's say, 35. I'm not sure how many there are. from your strongest one, your best strength, all the way down to your worst one. So my top 5 strengths based on this test are: number 1, competition. Who's surprised? Number 2, command or control. Number 3, relator. And this actually kind of surprised me in a sense because it's somebody who enjoys close relationships. And it surprised me not because I don't enjoy them, but because I have so few. I would say I've got 1. And I put a ring on it. So competition, command, relator, significance. I want to have an impact. My primary objective is influence. Ooh, that should be a tagline. Shit, that's cool. And number 5, context. I take the past to determine the future. So from there, how did I become an extroverted introvert with imposter syndrome? So why I think, let's start with this, why I think I have imposter syndrome. And I've put some thought into this. This is not like I have imposter syndrome. You know people out there who diagnose themselves simply for attention. I ran into a woman once. We were doing like 2 truths and a lie, some icebreaker, and she's like, I don't remember what her first 2 things were, but her third one was I have OCD. And I'm like, okay, sure you do. She goes, I count everything all the time. I count ceiling tiles. It's not OCD. You're bored. You have ADHD. You're bored. She's like, all right, I have to tap the door handle 3 times before I leave a room. At the end of the networking meeting, she didn't tap the door handle. Liar. You're diagnosing yourself just so, oh shit, I bet one of her things is significance. That's fair. Okay, anyway, so context. I use my experiences from the past to judge the future. And again, as this goes off to imposter syndrome, being that why I think I fall into that category, and I'm not doing it for relationships. I'm not doing it so you feel close to me or anything like that. I hope I'm not doing it for significance, for your pity, because I could not give 2 shits about your pity. But why I think that applies to me, the label of imposter syndrome, is because for all intents and purposes, I don't want to say I've had a cushy life, but man, in relation to so many other people, I don't think I've had an incredibly exciting life. I haven't had events or experiences in my assertion that would really drive somebody to change the world. So it's almost like I don't feel I'm worthy of success because I haven't had enough heartbreak or struggle. Maybe I am good at this. Shit. Okay. Let's learn some shit. Okay. So that being said, my number 1 strength is competition. When I was growing up, I played sports, football, baseball, basketball. I quit basketball in 7th or 8th grade because I sucked at it. Loved baseball. Baseball was my number 1 sport. My dad played baseball. My dad was in a Major League Club's farm system, the Braves, if I recall. Braves or Royals. Either way, Dad was fast. Jim wasn't fast. Jim still isn't fast. But Dad was fast. Jim would hit a single. Dad would say how he would turn that into a double. Jim couldn't bunt. Dad would say how he would bunt routinely to get on base and beat out the infield throws. Dad was fast. 3rd grade in math class. This is going to be a weird episode. I got bumped from the slow learners to the fast learners. I was the stereotype in that I was a goof off because I was done early. So they needed to make the class harder. I hate math, by the way. But at the same time, side note, you got to be good at math. Let's see here. High school, I was awesome in the weight room. Just load the fucking bar up with plates. Just clank, 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 clank. But we had these tackling drills. I was a lineman. I went to a small school. Even at 185, I was a guard. And so we had the chutes, right? And had a guy at the end of the chute that had the tackling shield. Tweet, blow the whistle. Our chutes were red. Our colors were white and blue. And you would get made fun of if you had a red streak across the top of your helmet, because that means you got knocked back into the chute. So ran through and big old other guard, ran into him. I didn't budge him, didn't move him. I remember the coach at the time, Mr. Burning. Taylor, you can squat a bus, but you can't drive. Because I couldn't move. This buddy of mine. So again, like, I wasn't a starter, but I was on varsity. I was strong, but not notable. I was good at baseball. Dad played catcher. I played catcher. Dad was fast. So I'm decent. I'm a good person. I'm in the top. I graduated in the top 10% of my class in high school, but I wasn't a captain on anything, and I wasn't on any national or state, certainly not national, but not any state championship teams. I almost made it in football. Went off to college, and so I took college courses in high school. Again, I was in the top 10%, but again, you know, if you're not 1 or 2, if you're not valedictorian or salutatorian or laudes, whatever, you're just in the mix, right? So went off to college, did great first semester, second semester, failed out of college second semester. Got legit a 0.00 GPA. I think I had 4 Fs and a W because I withdrew from 1. I had skipped so many classes my second semester that when it came time to go to my biology final, I went in to the biology building, went to the biology or the science building, went to the biology floor, and I didn't know where to go. It had been so long since I attended class that I forgot where the classroom was. Failed out that year. Came back in. Failed out again. I don't know if this was 4 straight Fs or whatever, but again, failed out. Went back to the local community college, got my grades up, got let back into school. And they're like, hey, if you fuck up again, you're out. You can't come back. We won't let you. Okay, sweet. So made it through school. Like, I don't remember what my GPA was when I got let back in the second time, but it was low. And through all the time going back through school, I was able to get it back up to a 3.56 GPA. Now, in there, I played rugby. That's kind of why I failed. It's not rugby's fault. It was my decisions that I made that made me fail out. But rugby gave me wonderful opportunities to make bad decisions. I'm okay. You get what I mean. But there's another thing going on there too. I was a biology major. Okay. I had aspirations of going into healthcare or medicine. But my friends were teachers, business majors, history majors, going off to law school, things like that. I didn't have much to talk about. The stuff that they're learning, that they're going to class for, could be applied pretty regularly and easily into everyday life. Nobody wants to hear about photosynthesis or the Krebs cycle or what you're doing in the greenhouse for, Bio 114 or is it a mollusk? I think it was a mollusk or a barnacle. If I'm not mistaken, I think barnacles have groping penises. That's what I was learning about. Oddly enough, that was invertebrate zoology. Now I have a profession where I work entirely with vertebra. But like, I'm catching bugs and I'm doing like bug mounting. It doesn't come up a whole lot when we're putting our boots on, getting ready to go out and play rugby, or we're sitting at the bar for quarter taps. So I fit in, but I didn't fit in. I fit in, but I didn't have much to contribute. And since I had failed out twice, the people that I had become friends with didn't fail out. So by the time that I was a quote unquote upperclassman, I was like 3 years older than everybody else that were regular upperclassmen because my friends were gone. Then rugby was a club sport. And the way we had it set up was entirely player coached. So when my friends graduated, I was the tenured guy on the team. I had played the longest. I had played the longest by years because I even played in high school. So oldest guys on the team, graduated, left. I was the only one left. Who's going to be the coach? It's going to be this guy. It wasn't this guy. This guy was a co-coach or an assistant coach because he was outvoted by younger guys. Now, granted, one of those younger guys turned out to be one hell of a internationally recognized rugby coach. But he wasn't that at the time. It wasn't his turn. It was my turn. So again, I come from a family that has stayed together. I come from a small town with blue collar roots. I was a really good student, but not the best student. I failed out a couple times, got back in, and I did what everybody else had done. All I did was did the work. Then I went off to chiropractic school. I was in the upper third of the class there. Like I am the stereotype where the above average student turns out to be the way above average business person. But I don't have any trauma to draw off of. I don't have any guilt. I got guilt. I don't got events or things in my history, which is important because my fifth strength is context in which I look back on my past. And my other strengths are competition and significance. So I look to others to gauge how good I am. So if I see others doing as good as me or better than me, and then I also put into context where they came from, what they learned, and where their spite is fueled from, and if their story is more painful than mine, does that mean that they're going to be better than me? Does that mean that they're more worthy of success and accolades than I am? Because my story doesn't hurt as much? I don't know the answer to that question, but that is something that comes up here in my head a lot. Trump's father gave him $1 million loan. I asked my folks for a loan to open a practice. They said no. So I did with $2,000 in my pocket, moved across the country. My wife is a fantastic growing success, and her story is painful. And she's turned it into something amazing. I don't have that. I have this platform, and my goal and my ambition is to help people achieve. But it's interesting, the anchor, if you will, that is the imposter syndrome that I think I may be struggling with. Do I deserve success because I don't feel my road has been hard enough? On the surface, I want to say yes, absolutely. But is that how it works? Like, do I need pain? Should I feel guilty because I haven't had the hardships that others have? And if I don't, does that make me either A, unsuccessful, or B, unempathetic? Like, I know I'm not very good at empathy, but at the same time, like, do I need to have empathy for myself? Is it okay for me to be a resounding success? And I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty successful, but there are so many higher levels that I could achieve. And is the thing that's holding me back my the insignificance, if you will, that I see the great and many traumas that others have faced that I have not. Not that their traumas were insignificant, because they absolutely were, but the absence of them in my life has turned into something that stops me. Now, I don't know how the introversion fit into all this. It seemed like a good idea at the start. But this, like I said, it's an interesting path. It's an interesting introspection. And at the same time, this goes to a previous couple of episodes on how I hate life coaches. Because has your life coach, or even your coach, done the due diligence to even give you just a 20-minute talk on how they've gone into their life? Are they worthy of being your coach? Shit, I don't know. I can think of a couple who probably aren't. I saw one who put an ad out the other day that was an outright lie, because I know what his stats were. He's lying on his advertisements. So if you're looking for a decompression coach, I know where to steer you away from. Anyway, neither here nor there. Bit spiteful, so kind of here. Anyway, I hope you got something from this. I really do. Because again, this is an uneducated, but if I do say so myself, intuitive and insightful person's take on introversion and imposter syndrome. How it affects me, how it affects somebody who is doing, for all intents and purposes, pretty well for himself, but also something that I rather struggle with on a pretty continuous basis. I don't know how or why. So if you got some tips or tricks for me, let me know. You know what this is, though? This is growth. This is vulnerability. Can't say that. You will, God, I hope, learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. I hope I taught you a little something, or at least shared a little something. Sounds very Bob Ross-esque. A couple happy bushes and happy birds. I don't know if you're still ignorant or uninformed. You might be both, but at least I hope you're a little entertained. Hope it made you think a little bit today. Again, like, share, follow. If you got something like that going on up here and you want to powwow about it, you want to be confused with me, slide into my DMs. Let's chat. Otherwise, you guys have an awesome rest of your day. I'll see you later.